Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new episode of Schmoedown All Access. I, of course, am your host, C-Dub Christopher Woodburn. I got a packed crew today. First off, I want to introduce making his debut here. He competed in the movie Trivia Schmoedown on Friday. Let's all give a loud round of applause to Matt Cruz.
Oh, what's up, Chris? Thank you. Thank you guys so much for having me. Very, very kind. I got up a little earlier than my 3 p.m. usual wake-up time to talk to you, Kat, so I'm happy to be here with y'all.
Yeah, and we are definitely happy to have you. Next up, we got my co-host. He runs the ones and twos. He is the villain, Haven Pendergast.
What's up, guys? I'm going to be off here for a second. It seems like somebody walked, so I'll be back shortly, but I'm happy to be here like always.
All right, go handle it, Haven.
Next up, we got the King of Hearts. He runs the Inner Geekdom here at Jack of All Trivia. He is James Schmoedown.
What's good, C-Dub? Glad to be back. I haven't been on in a hot minute. I was sick one week and I had to work the other one, so hell, it's good to be here. Feels good.
Yeah, we've missed you this past couple of weeks, bro. And last but certainly not least, he is the con man. His personality just oozes with intensity. He is Caleb Boatman.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome. You've got Matt here. That's going to be so cool. I didn't even know until like 5 minutes ago that he was going to be here. So this is super cool. Yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
Dude, yeah. For sure. That's how I do most things, Caleb. To be honest, I just show most places five minutes before things go, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
Just popping up like a pimple on prom night.
I had the pleasure of watching a live stream that Matt here was doing last night. I asked him if he'd like to come on the show, and here he is.
Yeah.
Boom. It was like a fairy tale.
So yeah, we'll get into this first match from Friday. We had our guest here, Matt Cruz, taking on the Dark Knight, Rosie Knight. And in this first round, we had, Rosie. She came out strong out of the gate. She had a lead of 6-3. Couple of the highlights from this. Matt here on question 3 was gave the guess for who was the co-star in Chinatown. He of course guessed not Jane Fonda, which was, I'm sure made most people chuckle at that. And also Matt, I want to say to you, don't feel too bad about question 4 about Spielberg's first Oscar.
Oh man!
I also guessed Close Encounters. But yeah, I'll go to you first, Matt. What were your thoughts coming into this match? What did it feel like? What was the atmosphere like in the room?
Yo, first of all, thanks again for having me, guys. Also, I just wanted to say, don't mind me. Pretend like I'm not here in that aspect. Like, talk about the match however you would talk about the match. I got a thick skin, it was cool, man. It was fucking nerve-wracking, dude. As you can imagine, like, just you cats would probably feel going into a match. Like, just put yourself in that same position. It's terrifying. The lights got to me a little bit beforehand. Once you walk into that room and you see everybody, like, they don't pan around the room to show who's there. But on a Friday, on any given day, like, anybody could be there. So on said day, like, Sam Levine's in the room, Mark Andreyko's in the room, John Roca's in the room. And I'm sitting up there getting ready to go on. And right before I go, I think the last thing I got told before I went on, John Roca came behind the curtain and was like, hey, don't fuck up. Oh, no pressure, man. No pressure.
Sounds like a Roca thing to say.
Yeah, very, very much so.
All right, and, what'd you guys... also, 3 points, it's not exactly how you want to start out, but how are you feeling after that first round, being down by 3 points?
I don't, okay, so the first miss that you get, and, how you've heard people talk, it feels different, and I used to feel the same way, too. I was like, it's not going to feel that different. Once you miss that first question, and that room's staring at you, and the lights are going, and you move along, it feels kind of like you got hit, man. I was kind of staggering on my feet for a second there. 6-3, definitely not the way I wanted to start it. I could have pulled the Chinatown question. I probably should have pulled Big Trouble in Little China, which also I brought up was what's going on at Skaliski's house with a China marathon going on over there. But it was rough. It was a rough first round. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. What do you guys think?
James, I'll go to you next.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when it comes to, brand new competitors, and I'm sure Matt can speak to this, we run our own league here. We have our own matches, but, it's different when your opponent's looking at you from a computer screen as opposed to when they're sitting right next to you. Not only that, but yeah, we've got hecklers in our ears the whole time while we're doing this. But again, it's different when those hecklers are looking right at you, literally about 10 feet away. So there's a whole different level of nerves that I'm sure come into play with this. With that being said, for a competitor who has never even graced the not just Inner Geekdom, I was about to say Inner Geekdom because that's my jam here at Jack Ball Trivia, but for somebody who's never stepped foot in the Schmoedown, period, to go out there and even just to put up 3 points in a brand new match when I'm sure the nerves have got to be at an all-time high. You've got people that you've looked up to doing this, like you said, John Rokas, Sam Levine, God knows how many other people. You've got Ken and you've got Mark at the desk. There's a level of nervousness to that, especially coming in as a patron who auditioned to be a part of this, and it's like, okay, now I got to step on my game. I'm sure there's a whole nother level of pressure that's added on there once you're doing it that way. So my hat is off to Matt for doing that. So, and even putting up 3 points, that is not at all that is a respectable score for a brand new competitor, I would say, having never been exposed to that kind of competition, especially in person. So well done, sir.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Caleb, man, it looks like you have to be the hill dude. He's they're being nice. Well, you got to be only negative thoughts from Caleb today.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Here we go.
No, I think that, I think everything that James just said was right. When you're under the lights, when you're there, it's completely different. And that I think, you're going up against somebody who has played an Inner Geekdom, but in the Schmoedown before, and she's in the public sphere. She's on things like Jedi Council and all that. She knows these people. These aren't. I'm sure it's kind of different meeting somebody like Ellis or Knapsack, whoever, in person when you're such a big fan of them and like you've been watching the Schmoedown for such a long time, than it is when you just kind of meet them because you work in the same industry. I'm sure that's part of an aspect of it. I mean, it was a tough round one, but I think everybody's had a tough round one. Roka has had tough round ones. Every great competitor in the Schmoedown has had a tough round one and has had a tough game. So, I think it's got to be fair. I didn't think the questions were that difficult, but there are some questions that I would say, oh, those are super difficult, and then some people say no, that's super easy. So it's all subjective like that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Never know what you're gonna get, man.
Yeah, and I also I want to say to Matt, don't feel too bad. Like, I like to say that I'm a pretty good competitor in movie trivia. I only knew 4 of those questions.
Yeah, man. I thought you're pulling some of them. You never know, man. That's the thing with round one. Like you can get 5 or 6 easy ones, or 5 or 6 ones that you've seen, and then or you can get 6 ones that you've never seen. It can be literally anything, man.
Yeah, because especially when you look at movies as a whole, there's so many different genres, and there's holes in everybody's knowledge. And stuff like that, having a shitty round one goes back to something my grandfather always used to say. If somebody tells you they never fucked up, they're lying.
Yeah.
I love it.
Haven?
I'm just waiting for Christopher to be like, oh man, how he missed that? That's so easy.
Thank you, Jesus. Okay, there we go. Thank you.
Talking like this. They'll be like, oh man, if I was there, I would have got 7 out of 8. I would have got this.
I only knew 4 of them.
It's like, I only knew 4, And the other time, he's, oh man, this one's so easy. What the hell?
Yeah.
Man? Like, I got that in my sleep. But no, for a new guy coming in, it's good to meet you, brother. For a new guy coming in, jumping right in the fray and playing the match, 3 points is 3 points. Hey, you weren't knocked out and you were able to go to the second round, So You know, it was we know you'll have a better show next time. You know, it seems like that always happens for people. You know, after each play, they get better and better. You know, so I hope that happens.
Well, thank you, gents. So I think we're all in agreement. First round could have been better. Hey, not the best first round. What are you gonna do? We made it through it.
Yeah, and to go off what Haven was saying, I think we can all agree. I mean, for me anyway, there was only really one softball question in that first round, and Matt got it right. It was who directed the remake for Ocean's 11. I think most people say that was a softball, but Matt got it correct. So, yeah.
Thanks, man.
All right, so going into round 2, Rosie had the lead. She deferred to Matt. He spun action on his first turn, didn't keep it, ended up getting 2,000, and he struggled. I'm not gonna lie, he struggled. He got 1 out of 4 for 2 points. Matt, looking back, obviously hindsight's 2020, but you didn't do well in 2000. How do you think you would have done better with action?
Oh man! As soon as Ellis fucking said it about the hindsight being 2020, that was it. I mean, I'll never spin twice again. I don't think, unless I spin Meryl Streep the first time. I don't think I'll spin twice. Man, looking at action adventure in my mind, my mind just was like going straight to like The Last Boy Scout, like Rambo, like all these movies that were a little bit before my time, and I haven't watched all of them. Like I haven't finished Commando. I've seen all the big ones, but I just kind of went there, so I was like, "Fuck it, man! Let's spin away and let's do one more." Obviously, not the right choice, man. But what are you gonna do? I think the only one that I really feel bad about in that round, which I should have gone to multiple choice, was Zoe Saldana. Shout out to Zoe Saldana instead of Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Is why didn't you elect to go multiple choice on that one?
Man, I just felt like once you get that far behind, I kind of just felt like at this point, like fuck it, like I really need this. I think I was still like down 4 going into round 3 or something.
You were down by 1.
Okay. I was down by 1. Oh man, I don't know what's wrong with me then, Chris.
Yeah. You were only down 7-6.
Yeah, you know what? Oh wow, it felt like I was still losing the whole time. Like it felt like I was playing catch up the whole time. Yeah, man, I should have gone to multiple choice on that one, and Zoe Saldana will forever haunt me for it.
And here's a question I want to ask. Obviously I've never been to Collider Studios. Do they have like the score for you to see it while the game is happening?
They do. So there's like that monitors facing you. I like just like you were doing feedback monitors like on a stage or something like that, so you can see the score. But man, you're not really looking at it, to be honest. Like, or at least I wasn't. Who knows? Maybe some cats are staring at it, but the room was full that day, and that was my first time sitting at the desk. Like I haven't even gone over there to mess around, like or to take pictures or anything. Even all the times I've been there, I've never sat by the desk. So next time, obviously, I'll be paying more attention to the score. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I have OCD, so I would be a stickler for knowing what the score is at all times.
Yeah.
All right, and then we go to Rosie. She spins Spielberg. Didn't want that. Ends up with getting action, and she got 2 out of 4 for 2 points. Matt was able to capitalize on 1 of 2 steals for 1 point, but Rosie had the lead 9-6 after that. Caleb, what were your thoughts on that second round?
Well, those decade categories, I think always tend to be kind of hard because you can just pick from anything, like 2000s, it's just any movie from the 2000s. It's kind of boundless category. So, that's always a little bit hard. I mean, I'm not very good with action adventure, so I probably would have spun again because I think, same reason why you did spin again, because I would have thought it'd been all like Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Willis, like that type of thing, which isn't like my top strength. So I think that's a fair thing to spin again. I think, that's just a bad luck with the respin. I think what that kind of comes down to. But I do have a question. how would you have done with Rosie's questions, you think? Like, if you would have gotten those, Matt?
So the scars I knew off the bat, that I knew that without the multiple choice. The fuck, I should have pulled the mummy. The statesman question, the statesman question. I knew Chris. I saw Chris yelling about the mummy one. He was not happy about me missing the mummy question. But aside, I mean, I don't remember the other two. I remember those two. I knew those two off top. Yeah, man. Next time, I definitely will go with action. It's so broad that where you can end up with. I mean, I guess I've seen more action movies than I thought.
Yeah. But Rosie wasn't that great with action. She did all right. How many points did she get, Woodburn, for action?
She got 2 out of 4 for 2 points. Both her answers, she went multiple choice and got them.
Yeah, so, she had to go multiple choice. So, it was, I mean, it was a solid second round from both. I think, Matt just couldn't quite break the lead down, but he didn't, lose any ground. So I think that's pretty good.
Yeah. Haven?
Yeah, I mean, it was evenly matched. They were missing a lot of stuff, but I don't know what her repertoire is. We've seen her in the IG match, and she kind of, halfway through, it seemed like she kind of just stopped caring, because she didn't really know too much stuff. It seemed kind of the same way in this match, during the action. She was able to get the 2 points. Matt was able to get 1 steal. But, yeah, she just doesn't I'm just kind of curious about what's going to happen if she's going to come back and play, because she just doesn't seem like I'll save those for afterthought. But yeah, I mean, it was what it was going into round 3.
James?
Yeah, as far as the round goes, I mean, like Haven said, they were kind of going, tit for tat here and there. They had their strengths, obviously. They had ones that they missed. As far as keeping an eye on the score goes during the match, I can see exactly where you're coming from on that, C-Dub, where you'd be kind of distracted by it and you'd be focusing on that the whole time. Speaking as a guy who's done stage performance before, when you're in the moment and you've actually got something going on there, you are trained to block out literally everything else. You see a camera flash out in the audience or whatever, you immediately just ignore it and just keep going. So even if I've got those monitors up there, I'm probably not even thinking about that. I'm just going with what I've got going on, because I've got places to be, I've got lines to learn, and in this case, I've got answers to give. So I can see why Matt probably wasn't paying much attention to that. Plus, trying to focus so hard on the questions and making sure, he's mentally prepping himself for what's coming next. I can absolutely see that. But as far as like missing the questions that were missed and the questions that were got, I mean, there were obviously a couple. I mean, Statesman, I knew. Scars, I would have needed multiple choice for, because it's been a long time since I've seen any of the Lethal Weapon movies. As far as some of the other ones, there were a handful in there I would have known offhand. There are a bunch I know I would have needed multiple choice, and even then I probably wouldn't have managed to hit it. But all in all, it's just, when it comes down to it, especially when you've got decades versus genres versus filmography type questions, like there's, at least with a genre, you've got an idea of like what kind of movies you're going to get questions about with that genre. Like action adventure, you'll get stuff like Stallone movies, Bruce Willis movies, Jason Statham movies, this, that, and the other. Whereas if you get something from a decade, you've got multiple genres across 10 whole years that you could pull from. So there's at least a good handful of times they're going to, like, I'd say 9 times out of 10, they'll probably pick at least one question, one movie that you have absolutely no freaking clue about. And the same goes for filmography-based questions, like for someone like Denzel Washington, who we'll talk about later, and or like a Nicole Kidman or a Meryl Streep, who everybody loves to chant for. Like, you're gonna run into at least one question 9 times out of 10 in that round that you have absolutely no clue about, because it's just one that's just never come up on your radar. So as far, like I said, admirable performance. Matt didn't get knocked out, so I mean, he took it to the 3rd round. He took it all the way to the end. So. Like I said, no shame in that, because especially for a first time out in the Schmoedown, I'm all the respect in the world on that one.
Mucho scrap.
Definitely. And also, I want to ask Matt this now. Assuming, and I'm sure we all hope that you do compete again someday, most people like to know what's your bag category. I want to know what is a category that you would absolutely feel like you would dominate if you did get on the wheel.
You know what? When I said I think the Kevin Smith category went up on the wheel a while ago, and then when I went to the studio, and I brought that up as one of my strengths. I was hoping it was going to end up on the wheel, man, and then you get there and you see the slices, and just no luck, dude. But Kevin Smith is one that I definitely felt like going into. I was like, if I can get Kevin Smith on that wheel today, I was like, I think things are going to be okay.
Yeah. All right, so going on to the third round, Rosie had the lead 9-6. She goes with her numbers 3, 17, and 9. Matt goes with 4, 8, and 16. For Matt's 2-pointer, he gets a category of 90s. Question was, Robin Williams plays Sean McGuire in what Academy Award-winning film? He gets that correct. Good Will Hunting. We stay with Matt for his 3-pointer, category Tom Hanks. Who plays Tom's brother in Splash? He got that correct. John Candy. So we bounce it on to Rosie for her 2-pointer, category 2010s. Question was, who stars opposite Natalie Portman in the 2011 rom-com No Strings Attached? She guessed Ryan Reynolds, which was incorrect. Correct answer was Ashton Kutcher. Stay with Rosie for her 3-pointer, category of family films. Question was, there are 8 films in the Beethoven franchise. How many were released theatrically? She guessed 3, which was incorrect. The correct answer was 2. Stay with Rosie for a 5-pointer, category Quentin Tarantino. In Reservoir Dogs, Steve Buscemi hates his code name. What is his code name? She gets that correct. Mr. Pink. So we bounce it on to Matt. This is for all the marbles. Category fantasy sci-fi. Question that broke my heart a little bit. 2007's Transformers. What is the name of Sam Witwicky's pet chihuahua? Matt unfortunately guessed Rocky. The correct answer was Mojo. And yeah, it sucked. Matt lost. I was kind of heartbroken over this. Matt, what were your thoughts on that third round? And did Mojo at all come across the line during that question?
The fucking Mojo effect, dude. It's gonna haunt me from now on. Honestly, did you guys? Who knew this? Honestly, who knew it off top? Who knew Mojo?
I had no idea.
No. I mean, I was racking my brain. I was trying to think of like what his dog's name could have been because I know it was a running joke, like he was humping on everything in those movies, and I was just like, what the hell? And I couldn't remember his name, but when he said it, I was like, that's right. It took hearing it to actually remember it.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that movie since like 2009. So
yeah, it's been a hot minute.
See, I knew that because I'll never forget the scene when he's with the police officer, and he's like, he pulls out the pill bottle. He's like, Mojo, is that what the kids are using today? A little bit of Mojo.
Okay.
Wow. When the cop ends up saying to Sam, he's like, you eyeball my piece, 50 Cent?
Wow, Chris, well done. Wow. You know what, man? I'm not gonna lie. Here's a little backstory as well. Just like Roka, I worked at Universal Studios for a handful of years, and I spent a bigger chunk of my life that I'd like to admit at Transformers: The Rise. So when you see me pull my hat up, I think when they asked the question, they go in 2007's Transformers. I was like, oh shit, here we go. Like this is it. They're like, what was the name of the Chihuahua? And I was like, fuck, 3 years down the drain for nothing. There we go. Couldn't even pull Mojo. But you know what, man? I thought it was a good third round, dude. Her 3-pointer. I mean, ridiculous. When they announced the Beethoven question, I mean, she had just as hard of a question. Did I think the Beethoven question should have been a 5-pointer? Probably. But I thought the third round was probably the best that we had, like of each other. We kind of limped through the first and second, and then the third round we kind of came back with a couple haymakers. It was tough, dude. It was tough. That coming down to that last question of like, I think the last moment, even Mark Ellis addressed it too, of like the second in between finding out who's about to win. That was pretty rough, like hanging in there. But I liked it, dude. The third round was a lot of fun to me. What'd you guys think?
Haven?
Yeah, she came to life, man, and she was able to answer some questions, and I was surprised, she got her 5-pointer, which was, I've seen a lot of talk on the Facebook pages, saying like, oh, it was easier, this and that, but it just works there, So some questions might be a little easier when, because even here when I'm writing questions, sometimes when we get to the third round, it's always just like, oh shoot, this question, that's the category they asked, and that's the first question that comes up. So it might have been 2-pointer, might be a 5, but so it was kind of an easy one because they asked questions similar to that before, like who's the character's name, what color the character, and they said pink, brown, So they asked those type of questions before on the Schmoedown. But yeah, your question was definitely a hard one, the 5-pointer. That was room for you, man. It's always good to see a fellow guy, man, just living his dream out, on the screen. And once they asked that question, I was just like, who the hell's gonna remember that damn dog's name, man? Those movies suck.
Makes me feel good that I did know it.
So let's be fair. Out of most of those Transformers movies, probably the best thing you want to remember about it is the damn dog.
Yeah, I was gonna say, jeez.
Sorry, not sorry, Roka.
James?
Yeah, no, like we were talking about, like it was a good match overall. The third round came down to like the last 2 questions. I'm going to slightly agree with Matt. I felt like the Beethoven question should have been the 5-pointer because I felt like at least the Mr. Pink question could have counted at least as a 3-pointer because I knew that fairly well. And to let you know, I haven't seen Reservoir Dogs. I don't think, at least not in its entirety. So I don't think I've ever watched the movie completely. So yeah, the fact that I knew it just shows how much I've been paying attention to what's been going on at Collider, I guess. But I mean, overall, like I said, it was good. You put up a hell of a fight, Matt. No shame in anything that went down there. The only thing I will say is during that match, I just kept thinking this the entire time, and I thought about it the entire time during her Geekdom match. Can we have a stagehand with an EpiPen of adrenaline to wake up Princess Valium, for Christ's sake? Good night, Irene. She looked as disinterested as I have ever freaking seen. What the heck?
Rosie?
Good grief.
Maybe that was her play to psych him out. Maybe she was using that as a psych out to get on the, to get in Matt's mind.
Yo, you know what? I respect Rosie. I like Rosie a lot. Rosie's fun, dude. You never know what you're gonna get with Rosie. I've met her a couple times, and like both times, like, she's very smart. She's super funny, but both times I kind of had this feeling of like, man, I think she's rope-a-doping me a little bit. I was like,
it's possible.
Yeah, she's cool though. She's really awesome, dude. I think she's playing that heel card super, super well.
Oh yeah, like I said, I'm sure she's great. Like I said, I'm just here to make jokes. I rip on everybody.
You're good. That was good.
Caleb?
Yeah, to kind of talk about Rosie for a little bit, I think she does one of the most important things a heel can do, which is make you kind of want to see her lose. I think that's what makes her kind of a good villain, is you do kind of want to root for her not to win, because unless you're the type of person who roots for the villains, which, sometimes it is fun. Like, I like to root for Kalinowski when he's a villain sometimes. But, also an important part of being a heel, kind of making people want to not see you lose, and then you win and you make them upset. That's kind of the fun part of it. So, I think Rosie, she's a pretty good heel, but yeah, that 5-pointer for Rosie, that was not that tough. Mr. Pink, I think most people know that one. And then I thought the Transformers question, that was super tough. I think that was a hard question. So, that I feel like that, that did kind of dictate the game a little bit, and had, your 5-pointer's been reversed, but that's the way it works sometimes. Sometimes it's just luck. So, it was tough, but yeah, they both played a good game. It was, they both played well. So, yeah, I mean, I want to see Matt play again. Definitely. I think, if he can get some categories that he's a little bit better with, I think, he can be stronger,
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, he's obviously good enough to, he's got some knowledge. Otherwise, Christian wouldn't let him come on the Schmoedown.
Yeah.
And I'm I'll admit, when Rosie missed her 2 and her 3, I thought it was over. I was like,
Yeah.
it's going to be just like the first match against Keaton. She missed her first 2, and then she's like, the fix is in. I thought it was over. And I'll be honest, I've never actually seen Reservoir Dogs, so I didn't know her 5-pointer. I did know her 2 and her 3. And, I mean, not the goal, but yeah, I knew all the match questions too. But yeah, I mean, it was a fun match to watch, and I mean, I wish you would have got the victory, but hopefully when you compete again, you will do just that.
Muchos gracias, man. Yeah, I mean, just my closing thought on that would be just again bringing that up, dude. Like you said, that 2 and that 3, when she misses that 2 and that 3, there's a moment like just a moment of everything like in your brain. The whole time I've been sitting there thinking I'm losing, and then once she misses those 2, you're like, oh fuck, you're like, I'm about to win. You're like, I might win this thing. Yeah, man, heartbreaking but fun race to the finish line.
Yeah, absolutely. And then in the we had did everybody give their thoughts on the match? Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we had in the post match. We are going to be seeing Rosie again because another competitor challenged her, Mr. Jared Habon. What are your thoughts on that match when it happens, Matt?
Man, I thought that was awesome. I think that bit is fucking hilarious. I was really cracking up when they thought of that when we were sitting there and they're like, you know what, just like you run in the same way. I think that bit's funny. I would love to. They haven't said it, but I would love them to see them keep that going with Rosie. I want to see Jared. I'm interested. You know what? If I had to put my money on it, I think with her momentum now going and with her feeling more comfortable in her role, I think Rosie's got that one in the bag, man.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. I know who I'll be rooting for, Mr. Habon, because he's just a super awesome guy.
Yeah.
Caleb?
Yeah, Habon, I'm not sure how he's going to do because he's pretty good in IG. You know, he's good in the Inner Geekdom, but as far as movie goes, he's probably, I don't know. If I remember at the free-for-all, he got knocked out the round he was in, right? Or pretty early anyway, from when he came in. I don't quite remember, but he might do good in the free-for-all. I don't know. I mean, not in the free-for-all, in the match. So I'm definitely rooting for him. I think it's going to be close no matter what. But yeah, so if I had to guess, I'll say Habon's might take that. I'll give him the slight edge.
Haven?
I like that, because that's how Matt got in. She was doing her interview, he came in, challenged her, and now if they keep that going, that would be awesome. She just got to keep winning. And I'm actually gonna go with Rosie. I think she's picking up some steam. I think she's got her character. The more she plays, I think the more her character will develop. I like her heel run, man. I love them heels, the villains. So Habon probably just be another competitor she has to swat down, man. But yeah, I'm looking forward to when that happens.
Yeah, James.
Yeah, as far as Habon goes, I mean, we've seen what he can do in IG. He's still untested in movies as far as like an actual one-on-one competition. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt because, again, as knowledgeable as he's been in IG, I'd like to think he's done his homework on just standard movies and everything in the downtime that he's had. So, yeah, I'll be excited when the match comes up. Yeah, like I said, as far as who I think is going to win, I want to root for Jared, but at the same time, Rosie's the only one with a winning record out of the two of them in the movie league right now. So it's kind of hard to bet against her. So I guess I'll go with Rosie on that.
Yeah, I mean, she very well could win. I mean, she does have the edge, as far as competing wise. I'd like to see Jared, and I'm sure Jared would like to erase that memory of his last match against Kalinowski.
Yes, absolutely.
Love it.
All right, so in between the two matches on Friday, we had a little bit of some kayfabe going on. Kalinowski confronting Roca, talking about if you beat Bateman, maybe you'll get to face Riley for a shot at the playing bid for the belt. Kalinowski, he don't like factions. He wants to get rid of them. What are your thoughts on that whole scene, Haven?
That's he's always stirring the pot, man. I think this match we're about to talk about, I think it's gonna have I think it has some ripple effects going, especially with that whole little thing that you mentioned. I don't know. Mike's always Mike. He wants to destroy factions, maybe because he wasn't good enough to be in any. Nobody wanted him down with them, so he's like the kid, that nobody picks in school. So now that he's grown up, and he's got like money, he could hire those people as like, security guards or just bully people. And it seems like he's one of those guys that's left out. Guys taking advantage, like some other guys in the real world. They get a little power, they take advantage of the people. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for now. Till we get to the match.
Yeah, and to Matt, to give you a little bit of context here, Haven and Kalinowski have a checkered history.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, they've gone back and forth on Facebook quite a bit.
Oh wow!
Okay. Yeah,
I'm assuming you're not one of the loyal sheeple then, Haven.
Hell no. You better go back to his farm.
I do want to say, Mr. Mike Kalinowski, if he is watching, thank you for following me on Twitter. It is greatly appreciated.
Hey, there you go.
Nice.
All right, Caleb, any thoughts on that mid-credit scene?
Well, I, for one, welcome our new Kalinowski overlords. But seriously, kind of building up a storyline between Riley and Roca, assuming, if Riley does beat Guy. If he doesn't, then, the scene, not pointless, but kind of just building the tension for the what if Riley does face Roca. And that'll be super cool if that does happen, but it'll also be super cool if Guy will face Roca. So who knows?
Yeah. Matt?
I think it's cool, man. I like it. Every time something like this pops up, I think it's fun. I think the Kalinowski heel run, I think we'll look back on it as like a fond long period. I feel like we've got to be coming. Obviously, with Anarchy starting, we're starting up a little bit more. But I think once we get past that, we're gonna look to a little bit of a different heel turn. But right now, I dig it. Guy, I want to see Guy as a fan. I want to see Guy. Instead, Riley Roca's cool, but we've, to me, that's a little bit more of like paying homage to like how it used to be. I'm more interested in like, and as a face, I shouldn't be saying this, but like I want team action. I want more team action, all the time team action.
Nice.
Yeah. James?
Like Haven said, Kalinowski just stirring that pot. That's all he's there to do. He's just there to try to cause trouble. He's not taking the shits. He's just disturbing them. But when it comes right down to it, one way or the other, regardless of whoever wins between Riley and Guy, we're gonna get a good match because and we'll talk more about that later on. But, you talk about all four of these guys who are in this equation are at the top of their game, especially right now. As much as it pains me to say that about Team Action, I don't have anything against them as competitors. They're just annoying as fuck to me. Somebody get them a side of Stanka with every freaking glass of water they've got, for God's sake. Just seriously, calm the fuck down, you frat boy Kingsman wannabes. Anyhow. What was my point? Anyhow, the point is that regardless of what transpires in the next couple of weeks or however long it takes to get, Riley versus Guy, and then obviously with the result of the match that we're about to talk about, we're guaranteed a good match between two top caliber competitors one way or the other. So, it was just fun to watch that story kind of build a little bit.
Now, something I want to ask Matt, I want to get his thoughts on it. Something we haven't talked about in a little while, but I want to get his take on it. What chances do you give that this whole Kalinowski, blackmailing Thad, is that Kalinowski is in fact in league with Christian because he wants his commissioner's job back?
Man, Where do I think as far as like percentage? Oh man, I want it to happen. Yeah, I want it to happen. I think that'd be really really cool. I think Harloff doing that turn would be dope. I don't know if that's exactly. I think there's a little bit of misdirection. I'm not sure. I don't know where that misdirection's going. I wish I did. I'm not lying. If I knew, I'd be like, I know, but I can't tell you. But I think there's misdirection. I'd like to see that heel turn. I don't think we're going to get it the exact way we think we're going to.
Yeah, I mean, it might not happen. It's just something that I believe that looking at it from the outside just appeared because Christian was obviously pissed off that Thad in the contract kind of screwed him out of getting his job back. And then here comes Kalinowski blackmailing Thad. Yeah.
I love it, though. I dig the whole angle, dude. I think it's really, really fun. Every time Kalinowski pops out from behind a door, from like around a corner or something like that, I giggle, dude. I think it's great. I'm loving what he's doing. And I hope that turns out what it. I hope that's what it turns out to be.
Yeah, me too. Because then I can say I was right. All right, so we'll move on to this to the second match. We had the Boss Ben Bateman taking on the Outlaw John Roca, and both these players they got off to a slow start, not as strong as they would have liked. Bateman had 4 questions, Roca had 3. A couple of highlights was Bateman on question 5. He mixed up the words. He put apes strong together when the answer was apes together strong. And then on question 7, it made me feel a little good about myself, was what Final Destination film was it where the people survived the
roller coaster crash?
Roller coaster. Thanks, James.
Wow.
Roller coaster crash. I did know that answer. Final Destination 3. They both guessed 5. And Bateman was up 4-3. I wanted Bateman to win coming into this match. James, what were your thoughts coming into this match in the first round?
Well, as some of you may know, maybe except for Matt, I am a ride or die member of Outlaw Nation, so I was firmly in the corner of John Roca this evening, or at least as far as this match goes. Though I will say, I think the only reason he keeps using that blindfold is him and his girlfriend keep getting a little kinky in their off time, and he just happens to have it in his car. But besides that point, overall, I thought the match going into this first round, it was weird to see between these two, such a low scoring first round. 4-3. I was anticipating it being like 6-5 or 7-5 or something like that, and going one way or the other. But it just shows that a lot of these cuts are starting to get a little deeper for some of these questions that Stilisky's writing. So. They're really trying to bring out the A game and the competitors, so I thought it was refreshing to see. Overall, like I said, it was good to see, Roca staying true to form, Bateman, of course, firing right back, still going on all cylinders. So it's nice to see that, the whole announcement of the Anarchy tournament and, who their partners are going to be hasn't really kind of affected them one way or the other. Obviously, it's not going to affect Roca because, he's still with one of his brothers in the Horsemen and Dan Merle, and with Bateman, he's going to team up with Riley. He's not with Guy anymore, so he's got that hanging over his shoulder. But he wasn't letting it play into his head in this match. They both compartmentalized things and stuck to the task at hand.
Yeah, Matt.
Hey man, just like Dan saying, man. You expect it to be high scoring, but you never know what you're going to get dealt, dude. You never know what you're going to get dealt. They hit a couple blind spots there, dude, and I think a lot of us kind of were taking it back that those were a couple blind spots. Good round though, going in. I'm excited for both of them. I think Roca. I think the first Schmoedown I ever watched was Roca, so Roca's always got a place in my heart as one of the champs in that Outlaw run. But recently going in, I wanted Bateman. I just want to see where they take action. I wanted to see individually how they would do. Nobody expected. No one. I was there the day Guy pulled the upset of the century, and no one in that office thought that was going to happen minutes before. So I think this round was proven. You never know what you're going to get in the first round, man, or the game in general. But I was still with it. I was still pulling for Bateman.
Yeah. Caleb?
Yeah, going in, I was pulling for Roca. Because, I just wanted – Roca's one of my all-time favorite players, so I wanted to see him kind of back to the same level that he was, back in, 2016, 2017, back to that just classic outlaw that he was. And, first round, he wasn't great, and neither was Ben Bateman, but I think they were particularly tough questions. I think these were hard questions. I only got 5 of them, and I think, missing 2 more than me, I don't think that means it was a bad round for them. I think it was just difficult questions. I really think these questions were very hard. So, Bateman, he, got 1 more point than Roca, so he's doing a little bit better. But, I like that it was close. I like that one player wasn't just dominating the other player because it kept things interesting.
Yeah. I will say, they were hard questions. I only got 4 of them right. I got the Apes Together Strong, Final Destination. Trying to remember the other 2 I got correct. Can't remember what they were.
And those were 2 of the ones I missed.
Yeah, I was gonna say I missed that Final Destination one too. Yeah.
I'm surprised because that Apes Together Strong, that was so prominent throughout that trilogy, like in the trailers and everything.
Yeah.
I've only seen 2 of the 3 movies, to be fair, and I've only seen the 2 once. So
yeah.
I love that trilogy. It's a fantastic trilogy.
That is good. I'm considering adding Planet of the Apes to IG, but I'm not sure.
All right. I'm glad you mentioned that. Now, Matt, you are a Schmoedown competitor. Obviously, you didn't compete in IG.
Yeah.
What do you think of James running this IG league? Like I said, what do you think about categories him putting categories in the online league that are not in the Schmoedown league? Me personally, I think if it's not in the Schmoedown, it shouldn't be in an online league. What do you think?
Well, let's give him an example of the categories.
Right. So one of the ones
first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you put Pirates of the Caribbean in Inner Geekdom?
Would I?
Yeah.
Would I? In my oh man, see, you know what? This is fun to get to mediate. This is what I want to do. Man, it depends on what you're going for, dog. Like if you want to do straight up like Schmoed, if you want to do like, okay, here's an example I would give to it. I like WWE, I like NXT, but NXT does some things that WWE doesn't, and I'm gonna be honest. It's still WWE, but it's the feeder system, and I watch NXT because I know that I'm going to get something a little different. I don't know about the specifics. I'm not going to pick sides on Pirates because I don't know who's on what side. But if it were me, I would throw in some other ones, man. I would differentiate myself a little bit, throw in some whatever your fandoms are. I would throw in a couple of those into your Inner Geekdom, dude, to make it a little bit different. Because you know what? I'm not even like. Harloff and them might pick from that later. They cherry pick from things all the time, dude. You never know. I think it's a good idea to mix it up a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah. I guess mostly I didn't want Pirates in there because I only watched the first movie and I didn't like it.
You just don't like Pirates, Chris.
Here's the way I was approaching it, and my thought is: you go to conventions or anything else, you go to Comic-Con, you go to Dragon Con or any of these other conventions going on. What are you most likely to see cosplays of, like die-hard fandoms of? You definitely get Pirates. A couple of other ones I was looking at are Ghostbusters. You definitely get a lot of those any con you go to. Transformers, and to an extent Monty Python, because you always get somebody dressed up like the Black Knight or any of those, Monty Python, Holy Grail characters or anything like that. So that's at least the way I was looking at it. If you're more than likely to find it at some form of geek convention, to me it qualifies. That's just me.
Yeah. And sorry for the folks out there. We didn't mean to get too off topic. I just wanted that.
I'm enjoying it.
All right, Haven. Your thoughts on coming into the match in the first round?
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Like Matt and James said, man, you think the score was going to be a lot higher. I was expecting it to be, maybe 7-5, 7-6, maybe. Something like that, but when it was 4-3 going into the second round, you're like, wow, this might be a really low-scoring game. Especially with the Outlaw, when he's in his zone, man, that dude just rapid fire. Like he knows, like he doesn't really have any weaknesses. Like he plays it, he plays it up there. Oh, oh man, do I know this one? Or oh man, that category. But that dude's a movie buff, man. That dude watches everything across the board. But I was going for Bateman. Of course, I was going for the boss. I love Rocha. He's my favorite player. When I first started watching it, he still was one of my favorite players. But I'm digging what the new guys are doing, man. And it's just like wrestling, man. When Hulk Hogan came in, everybody's loving him. And then, when Ultimate Warrior showed up, you're like, hey, you want to get the young guy a turn, man. You want to see him with the strap. So nothing against Rocha, man. I'm always going to love Rocha. I watched that Facebook little video they did with him and the new guy, Chance Ellison. That was funny as hell. So Rocha is always going to be Rocha, man. I love that dude to death. And, of course, I always want to see him win a title again. But, he's got time, man. You want to see the young guys, come out strong. And, Ben had a 1-point lead going into the second round. So, I was happy.
Yeah. All right. So, and yeah, like Haven, I like Rocha, but yeah, I'm a little partial to Bateman because we got to interview him. So, yeah, I wanted Bateman to win this match. So yeah, he had to lead 4-3. Bateman defers to Rocha. He spins 90s movies. Alexa spin again. Ends up getting Denzel Washington. He gets 3 out of 4 for 5 points. There was, he had some controversy on his fourth question, which I'm curious if I would have been given the answer because the question was, what was unique about the Bible in the book of Eli? I would have said it was written for a blind person to read. I'm curious if they would have accepted that answer because the answer they gave was written in Braille.
Yeah.
Then, Bateman was 0 for 1 on steals. Then Bateman takes his turn. He spins Oscar movies. He keeps it because that's a strength of his, and it showed. He got all 4 questions correct for 7 points. At this point, Bateman has an 11-8 lead. Caleb, what were your thoughts on that second round?
Well, yeah, I think both players did better in their second round. I think they kind of got into it a little bit more in the second round, did a little bit better. Rocha doing pretty well with Denzel, Ben Bateman doing pretty well with his category. I think it was pretty wise of Rocha to spin again with 90s because, those decade categories, because it's so broad. It could be any movie from the 90s.
You don't say.
Yeah, just like the 2000s with Matt. So any decade category is always going to be pretty tough. So I think, that's one. So it was pretty smart he spun away from that because he had the chance to. He did good with Denzel. Bateman did good. Both players, I think, did better in their second round.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like decades go, 90s was going to be a difficult one for Rocha, just because the running joke around Collider is that the first motion picture he saw was a slideshow made out of pictures chiseled into granite. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But yeah, going with Denzel, I know he's a big fan of Denzel Washington. He's watched a lot of movies. He interviewed him for Collider not too long ago. One of the more recent episodes of the Top 10 show, I believe, was about the top 10 Denzel Washington movies or something like that, back when Equalizer 2 was coming out. So I knew he would do well there. As far as being the book being written in Braille, like I knew that offhand because I'd seen the movie in passing like one time, and even then I'd only caught the end of it when that little tidbit is revealed. As far as Rocha's answer of him having certain things memorized, I could see why he might think that because, like, any person who's religious, any person who reads the Bible on a daily basis will have a couple of quotes in their pocket that they can pull from. So I could see why he might have thought that because Eli probably spouted one or two of them earlier on in the film that made you believe he had it memorized. So I could see how Rocha could have gotten confused on that. But yeah, other than that, not too many surprises. I know I wouldn't have done nearly as well in the Oscars category as Bateman did because, I mean, let's face it, Bateman keeps an eye on that sort of thing. I would have been lucky if I'd gotten 4 or 5 points going to multiple choice. So, yeah, that's just on me. But, yeah, overall, like I said, solid round, 3-point lead by Bateman going into round 3. Into round 3. And I was starting to sweat it a little bit. But, you know, we'll get to more on that in a minute.
Yeah, Haven?
Yeah, round 2, they both woke up. You know, they were both able to get good amount of points, and they both pretty much hit their strengths. that's not a secret that Ben Bateman, he loves Oscars, so he got that. He was able to rock. And, Roca getting Denzel, you just knew that he was probably going to sweep that, The Book of Eli, yeah, it was written in Braille. I wouldn't have said that he memorized it because that's not really special about the Bible. The question was like, what's special about the Bible? Not what was special, he knew the Bible word for word, but it was, written in Braille. So I didn't really see the controversy. It was just the wrong answer.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, his answer that they gave, it wasn't controversy. I'm curious because I said it was written for a blind person. Like,
Right.
would you as a question writer, Haven, would you accept that answer?
Yeah, but if they didn't know what Braille was, if they couldn't think of the word Braille, but yeah, if it's written for a blind person, would have been. I mean, for me, it would have been acceptable.
Yeah, I mean that's the
just
same
depends
thing.
on the judges and the question writer, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I was curious about myself. Matt?
Man, I thought this was a good round, man. To me, this is what the Schmoedown's about. Like, I always start getting excited when we get to the second rounds like this, when people start to come alive a little bit. Roca's hitting his Denzel questions. Love it, dude. Bateman's hitting his Oscar questions, and Bateman in real life is like that too. You can talk Oscars with Bateman for a minute. Denzel, I was excited about. I love those questions. I was trying to buff up on my Denzel knowledge, so I was excited about those. Good second round, dude. I loved it. I really, really loved it. I still thought going into the third round, anybody's game, But I was still pulling for Bateman, but I thought that Roca had a good amount of steam going on here, so I was like starting to look a little bit more Roca.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Bateman was up 11-8. He gives his numbers 3, 7, and 17, which I believe he gave in his last match. Roca goes with 6, 8, and 19. On Roca's 2-pointer, his favorite category, Westerns. I felt good. I actually knew this answer was who played Wyatt Earp in the film Wyatt Earp. He gets that correct, Kevin Costner. Roca's 3-pointer category of Tom Hanks. What American president gave Forrest Gump his Congressional Medal of Honor for Vietnam in Forrest Gump? He gets that correct, Lyndon B. Johnson. So we bounce it on to Bateman. His 2-pointer was horror. Who played the reporter Daniel Malloy in Interview with the Vampire? He gets that correct, Christian Slater. Stay with Bateman for his 3-pointer. Category was sports. Who directed Miracle and Warrior? He gets that correct, Gavin O'Connor. So he bounces back on to Roca for his 5-pointer. Category is 1990s. Name the two lead actors of the 1991 drama My Own Private Idaho. He gets that correct, River Phoenix and Keanu Reeves. And once again, down to the final question. Bateman's 5-pointer category of family films. Again, My Heart Was Broken. In 1990s, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, April's Apartment was seated above what kind of store? Bateman unfortunately guessed a pizza parlor. The correct answer was an antique store. Roca gets the 18-16 victory. Now, I will say this on my behalf. I remember when Roca's 3-pointer for Tom Hanks, I completely gasped on that question about the president that gave him the Medal of Honor. My mind immediately went to JFK in the scene when Forrest Gump says, "I gotta pee." So I would have got that wrong. And then also, I've seen a few people say online that Bateman's questions were a little too easy. I mean, I don't agree with that. I mean, I didn't know the reporter question, Christian Slater, but I've never seen Interview with a Vampire. I did know it was 3 and 5, I will admit, but I don't think they were much easier. I thought Roca's were tough. I mean, yeah, Wyatt Earp, that was a kind of a softball. But, yeah, I mean, Matt, what were your thoughts on that third round and Roca winning the match?
I mean, he was down coming in, but I just felt the momentum on Roca's end coming into the third round. I just felt like I was like, oh man, if he can pull it out here, I was like, I think he will. I felt a Roca comeback coming. It happened, man. You're right. Those were some tough questions. To me, at least, I felt like these were tough questions. Wyatt Earp question was tough. You're right. The Lyndon B. Johnson was a pull. Yeah, man. Tough third round in the antique shop. Man. I pulled it afterwards, but I don't think I would have got it in time. I don't think I would have got it in time. So hats off to Bateman. That's a tough 5-point question. You never know what that 5-pointer is going to be, man. But what a good match. Love it, dude. Loved it.
Yeah. Haven?
Yeah, man. It was like I said, I was rooting for Bateman, man, and he, that 5-pointer. I mean, it is what it is. When was the last time somebody probably watched that movie? And if he hasn't watched it in years, pizza parlor makes sense because the turtles love pizza. But if I would have had a repeat left, I probably would have eventually got it because I remember when I think they were fighting in the basement or they crashed or something. All the stuff. But I probably could have ended up saying furniture store for all I know. So I mean, it wasn't a easy question, unless you watched the movie like the week before. I thought it was a good question. I thought they all were. The interview with Vampire one that's pretty much like a 1-pointer, to be honest. The Forrest Gump one was a hard one. Because I was thinking the same thing, JFK, but I was like, no, that was after the football because he was drinking the sodas. But I couldn't think of any other president because he met like 3 of them in that movie. But yeah, man, can't be mad at the outlaw for winning. He knows his stuff, man. So I was happy for him. I was sad Bateman lost because I was really hoping that what happened with Guy and Dan would happen here. So, Bateman beat somebody that been a former champion and just keep the momentum going. And when that didn't happen, it's disappointing, because both of these guys played well. And this match was actually a lot nicer than I thought. There weren't too much trash talking. They almost seemed like they had mutual respect. So it was good.
Yeah. James?
Yeah, solid third round by both guys. I wouldn't have known an Interview with the Vampire either. I've never freaking seen that movie. I've never been a huge fan of Tom Cruise. I've made no secret about that. So no big deal there. But as far as Roka's questions, I wouldn't have gotten I know for a fact I wouldn't have gotten the first question. I guessed Kurt Russell instead of Kevin Costner. So there's that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would have guessed Kurt Russell. But as far as the 3-point question for Roka, I knew LBJ only because I remember the scene in the movie where he goes, "I got shot in the butt talks," and he pulls his pants down so he can see it. So I remember that. Nice. As far as the 5-pointer Roka, I would have had no clue on that. So that was kind of out the window for me. As far as Ben Bateman's questions go, like I said, no clue on Interview with a Vampire. I don't think I had any clue on his 3-pointer, but I did know the 5-pointer just because I wrote that same question for an IG match back when I first took over. So that kind of helps. Overall, like I said, solid match by both competitors. Really excited to see where the fallout of this goes as far as who gets a number 1 contender spot next. But we'll get to that in a little bit.
Everybody, I have breaking news. Sicario himself, Sean Sandberg, has tore himself away from whatever he was doing and has joined us. Welcome, Sean.
Hey, I'm really sorry to be so late on this one. I wound up falling asleep. I set my alarm clock for AM instead of PM by accident.
There it is.
Yeah, it was a very, very dumb move on my part. But I assume we're talking about the Roka match, given the fact you're mentioning Christian Slater and Interview with a Vampire. Okay, turn up. All right. We're on to the 3rd round at this point. I assume as well.
Yeah, we're at the end of the match.
I mean, you can go ahead and just give your thoughts on the entire match now.
I tried to tell him, dude, the whole time I tried to tell him, Sean, I was like, guys, we got to wait for Sean. I know you guys want to get to this. You're being real dicks about it, though.
All under the bus. I thought we were cool.
It had nothing to do with me being a total dumbass.
Okay.
By the way, fantastic job on your match with Rosie, man. Like, really, genuinely great job.
Thanks, brother.
I know it didn't all go. You played a hell of a match.
I appreciate it.
All right, the Roka versus Bateman match. I was keeping along with the match, obviously, like I do always. But it was a lot of fun, and I really I thought he was going to pull when he wound up whiffing on what was his 5-pointer again?
It was in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. April's apartment was located above what kind of
antique shop? Yeah, the antique shop question. Yeah, no. When he asked for a repeat on that, I thought I knew it was game. I knew it was game for a fact. Now sometimes he'll do that thing where he's just messing with people and he'll ask for a repeat. That way he can just, build up the tension. But with that one, I knew, I don't know what it was. I knew he was going to whiff on it. I mean, he's a fantastic competitor. Roke is a fantastic competitor. And like you said, it's going to be really, really interesting to see who gets the next title shot, given, the new stipulation with 2 matches in a row. This is going to be really, really something. And also, I can tell you right now that that's going to work in the favor of Chance Ellison very, very much so when he gets involved in singles, because that guy's going to put 2 matches together like no one's business. I mean, we all know how good that guy is, and we all know that he's going to just be able to, we know he's going to win 2 matches. Fact. He's going to win 2 matches in a row. So, oh man, this gets me excited. This gets me very, very excited.
Well, we're definitely going to talk about Chance. Let's get through the thoughts on this match first before we do that. Matt, what were your thoughts on the match?
Great match, loved it. Classic Schmoedown, barn burn. To me, at least, took a second to get going. But two of the best in the game, 2 of the best personalities I think that we've ever seen. Possibly one of the best faces. What I think is going to be one of the best heels going forward. Great showing from both of them, dude. Came down to the last question, and you can't hang your head on it. Great showing from both, dude. I loved it. One of my favorite in a little bit, actually. One of my favorite matches in a while.
Yeah. Caleb?
Yeah, as far as the 3rd round goes, I knew I'm kind of the reverse of most of you guys. I knew all of Roka's questions, and I don't think I knew any of Bateman's questions. I didn't know any of Bateman's questions. Those I found all of those to be pretty tough for me anyway, and I knew all of Roka's, so it was kind of a funny reversal there. I'll admit, I have not seen, and I probably shouldn't say this just in case my upcoming IG opponent, Christopher Day, is watching, but I don't care. I have not seen Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So
well, then you really just screwed yourself, because Chris isn't your opponent next.
Wait,
yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Oh, crap.
Crap.
I was saving that announcement, Sean. Thanks for burying the lead.
Sorry about that.
Caleb, let me say this. You got to watch at least the first 2. The 3rd one, I wouldn't blame you if you don't watch it because it's not good. But the first 2 are awesome. Those first
I have
2
to watch the one with
they
Vanilla
were my
Ice.
Childhood. The first
Vanilla
2
Ice one?
Go Ninja, go.
love
Come on, you gotta watch.
Damn right, dude.
I might just for the points, but yeah, it was a good match. I think it was a lot of fun. Roka's a lot of fun. Roka's one of my all-time favorite competitors. I think when it comes to skill and entertainment, I think he's the best. I think he's super entertaining and super skilled. So I think if you judge those 2 qualities, I think he's the best at both of them. So Roka, it's just great to watch him win again, and I'm really excited for kind of what will be coming against if he plays either Riley or Guy. I think no matter what, that's going to be a great match. So yeah, Ben Bateman did a good job. Kind of about what I expected from him. So yeah, I'm super excited.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I go as far as he's the best when you combine the trivia with the entertainment, because I'll be honest, I think as far as that goes, the title for right now has got to go to Bibiani, because Bibiani is quite the showman, and he has a lot of knowledge.
That might be that might take that. I don't know. They're close. They're they're tied, basically.
Well, I mean, we're not even mentioning the fact that, look, Ben Bateman, yeah, he didn't win that last match. His knowledge is remarkable, and his entertainment value is incredible. Let's be real on that one. That guy is one of the best competitors in the league, period. He if you want to make an argument for it, he gets that title just as much as anybody else.
No.
Well, I mean, I think what does separate Bibiani from at least Bateman doesn't have these great elaborate entrances.
Yeah, but that's also not his character either. Don't get me wrong. I love Bibiani. You guys know I love me some Bibs, but seriously, that guy is. Name me a better trash talker in that whole league.
Then Bateman, Andrew Gott.
I was gonna say, but then they're feeding off each other, so it's like taking one without the other. It's like a left Twix and a right Twix.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And Kalinowski ain't too shabby at shit talking either.
No, he's not.
Oh, he's lame. He's lame in the match.
I think the Lions Den at their peak were pretty good trash talkers.
Yeah.
Not really. That was just a bunch of Dagnino spouting nonsense and everybody just blindly agreeing with him. Because apparently they were all too drunk to realize he was talking out of his ass.
Yeah.
I have no judgments on someone being too drunk to do something, so.
All right, well, I think that about wraps up the matches. Now we can move on to, we're going to preview this whole entire Anarchy team tournament. We got the first match now. We know what the first match is going to be at the live event. I don't know the order and how these matches are going to come out, but at the live event, we got John Roca and Dan Murrell taking on Stacey Howard and Winston Marshall. I think the clear-cut favorites here is Roca and Murrell. Roca's hungry. Murrell is extra hungry after that loss to Andrew Guy. Do you guys want to discuss this match by match, or you want me to just break it down how it all plays out, the first round matches? How do y'all want to do this? Y'all want to discuss every single match or no?
I mean, it's your show, dude.
I like every single match, but I'm good with whatever.
I'm kind of doing this on the fly. I'm good either way because talking about every match it might take a while because we could preview these matches in future episodes. So yeah. I'll just talk about. I'll say all the first round matches, and you tell me like the one or two matches you're most excited for.
Yeah, because we could do a whole separate stream about going in depth on this.
Yeah. All right. So the next match we have is KO Mike Kalinowski and newcomer going to be fresh on the scene, Chance Ellison, taking on Rachel Silvestrini and Devon Stewart. Next up, we got the Beast William Bibiani, and Matt Nose will be taking on Ethan Irwin and Sabina Graves. Next, we got Mark Yodi Riley and the Boss Ben Bateman taking on Eric Zipper and Haley Fouch. On the other side of the bracket, we got the In Snyder, Jeff Snyder, and Mark Andraco taking on Scott Manson, Sean Gerber. Next up, we got the Machine, Janine the Machine, and newcomer Brian Walton taking on Matt Atchity and Alonzo Duralde. Next, we got JTE and the Professor Lon Harris taking on the Wildberries, Josh McCouga and Elliot Dewberry. And finally, we got the Godfather, Drew McWee, and Miss Movies, Breanne Chandler, taking on Whitney Seibold and Mark Edward Houck. Now, I'll say for me personally, this is a team, I said they're going to win this thing. Chance Ellison is going to fucking put the league on notice that he is a killer. I got him and Kalinowski winning this thing, so I'm excited to see their first match. And then another team that I think is going to go far but be defeated by Kalinowski and Ellison. I'm excited to see Mark Riley and Ben Bateman and what they're able to accomplish. Matt, I'll go to you first. What are a couple teams that you're looking forward to see play, and who do you got winning this thing?
You know, I don't know as much about the Chance Ellison train, but everybody says this cat's a killer. I'll just say this. I'll say this as we go with caution into his storyline. I never thought I'd see Dan Murrell lose a match. And I never thought I'd see Dan Murrell lose a match in spectacular fashion. So any killer can come in. I'm pushing for him, though, since he's a new cat. I think Kalinowski and him. I think he's Kalinowski's secret weapon. I think on that side, I want to see them make it to the top. On that same side, I'm interested in Zipper and Haley Fouch. Super Zip is not only a super cool guy, but I think really, really underrated. And I think Haley's got a lot of knowledge, and I think they're going to be a cool team to watch. On the other side of the things, Janine, obviously, I'm excited to see Janine go out there and kill it. But I think on that side, I think a sleeper team is former tag team champ and former free-for-all winner. I think we got Miss Movies and the Godfather. I think, to me, that's a sure bet, man. I mean, I think they'll complement each other really, really well. And I'm excited to see them play. I'm interested to see how Bateman and Riley coexist, or if that's possible. But those are my picks, man. On one side, I think Miss Movies and The Godfather, and then on the other side, Chance and Kalinowski. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I will say this briefly. I got McWinnie and Chandler reaching the title match, but I got Kalinowski and Ellison defeating them.
Okay.
Okay, Caleb?
Yeah, as far as, just people I'm excited to see, I think I want to give a shout out to Rachel Silvestrini, because she was on Schmoedown All Access back in like episode 11, I want to say. Yeah, that's probably about right. So that's super awesome that she's making it into this tournament. That's super cool. But yeah, I think Zipper and Fouch are kind of a team that people are sleeping on. I think they could go pretty far. I think they are going to beat Riley and Bateman. That's just my opinion, but I think I've got them taking the upset there. Yeah, I think other temes, I think Snyder and Draco are going to be pretty good together. I think Riley and Merle, Merle and Roca. I think that team, I think people are forgetting. I don't know. I think they're going to be, if they make it to Kalinowski and Ellison, I got them at the slight edge victory. But as far as who I've gotten going all the way, I've got JTE and Lon Harris, Evil Geniuses. I think they're going to win. I think this is a team that they cover each other's weaknesses. I think, Lon, you've got more of the highbrow films. JT, you've got more, lowbrow action movies. I think they're going to complement each other perfectly. I've got them going all the way.
Yeah. Haven?
Yeah, on the left side, I guess, on the Snyder side, there's a lot of good teams on that side. I'm actually in agreement, man. I think JTH and Lon Harris, I think they're gonna meet up, which I think would be really cool against Snyder and Draco if they meet at the Eastern Conference Finals or Western, whatever you want to classify as that. Former teammates, former champions. I think that would be a moneymaker match. Have them against each other on that side of the bracket, and I do see JT and Lon Harris winning that side. And then the other side, man, all these teams look really well, man. I mean, Silvestrian, I don't want to pronounce her name wrong, but somebody that she's a brand new competitor, and nobody's really doing a lot of hoopla. They didn't really show a picture, so it's just like, oh, we got another new person. So on that side, you got Ellison and her as two new competitors making their debuts. But I think a sleeper is going to be. I think a sleeper for me. I'm picking Irwin and Graves, man. I think they could. I think they might be a sleeper team, and they might pull off a lot of upsets. But I'm gonna have to go with. I'm gonna go with Irwin and Graves. I think they'll probably pull it off. A lot of these teams, they might not mesh well. A lot of hypes around. I'll pick them from the other side, and I have JTE and Harris winning it all.
Nice.
All right. Sean?
Okay, so with all due respect to everybody here, because I know every single person on this stream is a fantastic competitor, the best competitor I've ever seen play in movie trivia is Chance Ellison.
Wow.
He's genuinely the only guy who, like, when I had my name called to play him next over in multiplex, I was like, oh, fuck. Like, genuinely, he's the only guy that freaked me out, like, right off the bat. The only problem I see for him potentially is if he gets to the point where he and Kalinowski have to play Merle and Roca. Merle is one of his idols. Merle is that guy's, like, movie trivia hero. And the place where I see Chance maybe faltering is potentially getting a little bit in his own head because of that. That's a very real possibility. Now, if he just goes in there and he and Kalinowski take out Merle and Roca, it's over for everybody. That's going to be the moment that for a fact that they are going to take absolutely everything. But That being said, that's a big if, because both, like, we all know who Dan Murrell and John Roca are. Yeah. We all know who those two are. They are phenomenal competitors, both former champions. And I think more than anything, they've got a really legitimate chance to take the entire thing. Now, that being said, Lon Harris and JTE, which, by the way, who said JTH? Because I'm like, Jeremy Hastings is all of the sudden playing in the movie Trivia Schmoedown. When the hell did this happen? But no, Lon Harris and JTE are another really, really viable pair of competitors. They could pull this whole thing off too. I don't see that being like a thing where we'd be like, oh wow, that's super surprising. It's like you've got a former team champion and the former fact checker for movie fights who's just off the charts brilliant. Or wait, was it TV fights?
Not sure.
It was one of the other.
I can't. It was one or the other. But yeah, both of them are just absolutely unbelievable. Plus, Janine's the shit too, and there's so many different ways that this could go with this whole anarchy situation. So
yeah,
I'm
and I will say, and I will say, I'm a little disappointed. I was excited to see Janine and Ethan Irwin be paired together, but it wasn't not meant to be. And to Matt, I'll say this: you said you really don't know much about Chance. Here in the online leagues, and there are a few of them, Matt, this guy has won every damn belt there is. Like, I'm telling you, people are not ready for fucking what he is going to do to the Schmoedown. He is going to cause anarchy. I'm telling you, he is an assassin.
You guys are putting the fear of Chance into me right now.
I'm telling you,
he's be more and more wary.
Sir, I can't.
Trust me. Yeah. Once this whole anarchy thing is done, Bibiani better watch his back.
Wow.
That's all I can say.
That's exciting.
There's two guys. There's two guys that I think are as good or better than Chance, and neither of them are in the Schmoedown, and that's what's really scary to me right there. They're in the online leagues, like they're believe me. One of them is my partner Grant Gregory, and the other is a guy by the name of Paulo Yama. And oh man, buddy.
Yeah, that's exciting, man.
All right, James.
Yeah. As far as this goes, like honestly, my heart goes with the Horsemen because I've been ride or die with them from the beginning. It's great to see, like I said, Ellison, Silvestrini. I think it's great seeing them both in there. I hate that their first match is up against each other because I want to see Rachel hang around a little bit longer. But that being said, I'll agree with Caleb. I think Zipper and Fouch can really pull off an upset, especially if Riley is so fed up with Bateman before the match even starts, he decides to just throw it so he doesn't have to deal with his ass anymore. Irwin and Graves, I think, are a sleeper as well because Sabina has a lot of knowledge. I mean, she did very well in the free-for-all when she came in. So, and especially Ethan Irwin, I mean, the guy was one question away from competing against Bibiani for that title. So, especially with now them, Bibiani and Nost, as well as Ethan and Sabina going against each other in the first round, I think there's an outside chance that Irwin and Graves can take that one, and they could secretly move on as well. As far as the opposite end of things, don't sleep on Snyder and then Draco. I mean, they've former members of the Lions Den together. There's bound to be some residual chemistry still left there. As far as, I think the biggest question here is how many shots are Makuga and Elliot going to do in that match with, JT and Lon Harris, and how bad is the contact drunk that they are going to give off to JT and Lon going to affect that performance? But aside from that, like I said, as far as who I think is going to take it all the way, to me, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, I'm going to say that the finals come down to Roca and Merle versus McWeeny and Breanne Chandler. Yeah. That's my pick. That's what the final comes down to, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I don't think people are really sleeping on Snyder and Draco. I know I got them in the final four. I got McWeeny and Chandler beating them just like you do. I'm telling you, Brooke and Merle could very well win this thing, but yeah. I want to see Chance Ellison. I'm a fan of Kalinowski, but I want Chance to fucking kill everything and everybody in his path.
I agree with you, but at the same time, this is a team tournament, and there's only so many points he can earn by himself, especially in that first round.
Yeah, but Kalinowski's, I mean, yeah, he lost his last match to Mara, but he's pretty hot, and I'm assuming he's going to be studying his ass off for this thing.
Yeah,
we will see.
The only problem for Kalinowski is he's sort of like Shogun Hua in his prime. He's either boiling magma level hot, or he's Arctic cold.
Yeah,
and you know we'll see which one shows up on any given day. I mean, he's been friggin' electric these last bunch of matches, but we'll see. We'll see.
And also, I would like to think that Chance Ellison's greatness will rub off on him.
Either that, or I mean, it's possible that could happen, or you could see a jealousy thing pop up where everybody's talking about Chance Ellison, nobody gives a shit about Kalinowski.
Yeah, well, I think the thing that's going to freak out a lot of the competitors in the Schmoedown about Chance is he's 20 years old.
Yeah.
He's
20. The only person who's competed there who's younger is Cody Hall.
Yeah, I think that even then, I think they might be like right around the same age. Like
Cody Hall, he talks about his age on the Wanger show. He's like 25 or 26.
Oh, okay, so yeah, Chance is probably the youngest competitor in the
I think he just looks really young.
It's easy to look young when you don't grow facial hair.
Must be nice, isn't it?
Did I go through everybody here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you covered everybody.
Alrighty, well, yeah, I mean, unless anybody else says anything else they want to add, I think that about wraps everything up. No? Okay, well, everybody out there, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. I want to give a great thank you, shout out to our special guest, Matt Cruz.
Thank you.
And I want to say, you're welcome here whenever you want it. You can come on every week if you want. It wasn't just because you're a Schmoedown competitor. I loved hearing all your thoughts. Where can everybody find you online?
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it, man. Thank you guys so much for having me. Thanks to anybody who's watching this. It's been really, really cool to me. Everybody's been really nice. No one's called me an asshole thus far, so I appreciate it a lot. Oh, damn it. We were doing so well.
Been broken.
I'm sorry.
No, but yeah, dude, you guys feel free to holler at me whenever. I'm down to help out. You can find me. I'm just on Instagram at Matt Cruz Sucks. Hopefully back on the show sometime soon. But yeah, dude, holler at me whenever you guys are doing your fights or doing your streams. Holler at me. I'll jump in.
Cool deal.
Awesome. Sean?
Oh, you can find me at Sean Sandberg on Facebook. You can find me at @SandbergSean on Twitter. Once again, thank you so much to Matt for jumping on this thing. I'm once again sorry that I was so late. It was kind of a shit show a little bit on my part, but once again, thank you so much, buddy, for always inviting me onto this stuff. It was fantastic as always.
Definitely. Caleb?
Yeah, you can find me on my YouTube channel, Caleb Boatman. I do Schmoedown reactions there. You can find me here on Jack of All Trivia, usually on Schmoedown All Access every Sunday. It's such a great show to be on. You can find me playing trivia matches in Jack of All Trivia. Apparently, my next match is an IG match with Sean Sandberg. I thought it was going to be Christopher Day, but hey, now I'm scared. And you can find me later tonight on the Jack of All Trivia channel on my second episode of my show, Schmoedown Countdown, where we are counting down the top 10 Anarchy teams. That's going to be a lot of fun doing that with my partner in the team league, Cameron Haas. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. Check that out later tonight. Yeah.
Absolutely. James?
Yeah, you can find me on my own personal YouTube channel at James Shimo. I do Schmoedown reactions, death battle reactions from time to time when I remember that they come out and that I actually need to watch them. You can also find me there doing trailer reactions. You can also find myself and Haven Pendergast there later tonight. Hopefully we will be doing our review of the Indie Pro Wrestling pay-per-view All In that just happened last night. What a night. We have a lot to say about that. You can also find me there on my own show, Sweating It Out, where a bunch of sweaty nerds just get together, talk about any given topic at any given time for about 3-4 hours, however long we want to go. Also, you can find me there playing D&D with a couple of the guys from here in Jack of All Trivia. And you can also always find me here at Jack of All Trivia running the Inner Geekdom League. Like Caleb said, tomorrow night there will be a match between Sean Sandberg and himself. Originally, it was supposed to be Christopher Day, but Christopher, was it Christopher Day? Or I can't remember.
Yeah, it was Christopher Day, but I didn't know it was tomorrow night. I thought it was next week. Okay.
Okay. Your first match will be tomorrow night. So yeah, that'll be fun. But yeah, we'll have that going on. So be ready for that as well. Also, find me here running, competing in the movie and the wrestling leagues, and on Schmoedown All Access every single Sunday that I'm not either sick or working.
Definitely. Haven?
You can find me on Facebook at Jack of All Trivia if you want to be friends, and join the league. And of course, you can find me on YouTube at Jack of All Trivia. And right after this, we have another episode coming up. It's one-on-one, and this time we have a special guest, Sean Sandberg. That will be dropping right after this. So hope everybody checks that out.
Awesome. Can't wait to check that out. I'm loving your little one-on-one vids.
Yeah,
one last time. Seriously, everybody. Chris, Caleb, Sean, Haven, James. That's everybody, right? James, I saw James right up. Yeah. Chris, Caleb, Sean, Haven, James, Schmoedown All Access. Dude, you guys rock. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Dude, thank you so much.
Anytime.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure. And lastly, you can find me on YouTube at Christopher Woodburn, Twitter, Chris Woodburn83, Facebook, Christopher Michael Woodburn. If you do Schmoedown reactions, trailer reactions, come join the MTS Fan Reaction League. Also, if you're watching this now, you can find us every Sunday, new episodes of Schmoedown All Access. Also, tomorrow night, I will be competing in Inner Geekdom against the glorified jobber, Richard Schwartz. And lastly, I want to give a shout-out to the guys over at Schmoedown Rundown. Congrats on 100 episodes. If it wasn't for that show, we would not exist. So thank you to them.
Good stuff, guys.
Until next time, it's your boy C-Dub for Sean, for James, Caleb, Nat, and Haven. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.